Hey everyone, welcome to Salesforce Apex course. In previous video we saw about the methods, right? So in this video we are going to see about conditional statements, right? So let's start the video. Okay, so first of all let's see what are conditional statements, right? So whenever we want to run any particular line of code based on the conditions, right? For example, let's see when you log in into any websites, right? You insert your email and password. Okay, so when you enter the details and click on login button, then if your password is correct, then you can successfully log in, right? But if your password was incorrect, then it shows the message like password is incorrect or forgot the password, right? So whenever we have a condition, when we want to do something like if any condition, then execute this line of code, else execute another line of code, right? So based on condition we want to like execute any particular line of code, so we use the conditional statements, right? So in Apex we have conditional statements like if statement, then we have if else, right? We have nested if. Okay, we have else if, and we have switch statement, right? So let's see one by one. Okay, so to understand if statement we will be taking one question, right? Let's say we want to implement, we want to write a program, okay, in which if the age is greater than 18, okay, so then we have to display the message as can vote. Okay, user can vote. Okay, so let's create this. So first of all we will create a class. Okay, let's name it as conditional statements. Okay, now we will create a method. Okay, public void, let's name it as can vote or not. Okay, we will check if the user can vote or not. Okay, so inside the method we will take a variable age, integer age. Okay, and here we will define the value of age. Okay, so now to, to implement um, okay, let's again write our question. Okay, so our question will be programmed to print user can vote if user is, okay, age of user is greater than or greater than or equal to 18. Okay, so this is our question. Okay, so we will implement this with using the if statement. Okay, so for writing the if condition, okay, so you have to write if keyword, and then you have to write a parenthesis. Inside this we will write the condition. Okay, and then curly braces, and inside the curly braces we will write the code which we want to execute, right? So what we want to execute, system dot debug user can vote. Okay, so here what will be our condition? So condition is written in the question itself. If the age is of the user is greater than or equal to 18, right? Greater than or equal to 18. Okay, so we will use the relational operator. Okay, so age is greater, so greater than sign, this is greater than sign, and equal to 18. Okay, so this is our condition, if age is greater than equal to 18, right? So this condition will give the result as true or false, right? Let's take the age as 23. Okay, so here now age is 23. Okay, so 23 is greater than equal to 18, right? This is a true condition. So this line of the code will execute, right? Let's say if we give age as 12, right? So 12 is greater than equal to 18? No, right? So this will give false. Okay, if this give false, then the statement, statement under inside the if statement will not execute, right? So let's see. Okay, so let's execute this. Okay, then we have to save this, and to like execute this method we have to create an object, right? We have to create an object. Okay, so let's create an object. How we create an object? We write a class name, then object name, let's obj equal to new, and we have created the object, right? And now we will call the function can vote or not. Now I will write the parenthesis, right? So now execute this. Okay, so let's see. What type conditional statements? Let's see. Let's execute this. Okay, now let's see our debug log. Okay, so here nothing appears, right? Why nothing appears? Because the age is less than 18, so we haven't, so this line of code is not executed, right? So now let's say age is 19, right? Let's save it and now execute this. Execute. So here you can see user can vote, right? So now this condition becomes true, so the code which is available inside the if, right, got executed. Okay, so this is the simple if statement, right? This is the simple if statement. Now what if we want to show the message if the user is like if the age is less than 18, then we want to print the message called user cannot vote, right? So for this we use the if else statement. Okay, so for now what we have seen the simple if statement. Okay, this is the simple if statement. Okay, now let's see the if else. Okay, next conditional is, most of the time we are using the if else statement, right? So let's see, let's create another method, public void. Okay, now let's create new one, public void can vote. Okay, so now we will write the same code here, right? Let's copy this and paste this. Okay, so now our requirement is if the user is greater than 18, okay, age is greater than 18, then this message should like print. Okay, but if the age is less than 18, then we have to print a message called user cannot vote, right? So for this we use the if else statement. Okay, so whenever the condition is true, if like the code inside the if statement will be executed, right? But if the condition is false, then the else condition will be executed, right? So when the condition is false, we want to display a message system dot debug user cannot vote. Okay, so now let's say age 1 here. Okay, so now here the age is 19, right? So this condition is true, so this line of code will be executed. Okay, if I make it as 15, then this condition becomes false, then the else condition will execute, right? Let's save this and let's execute. Okay, so now let's give age as a parameter. okay, integer age. Okay, integer age. Okay, so now what I will do, I will call this method abj dot can vote, and I will give the age as, let's say, 12. Okay, I am giving age as 12, and let's remove this. Okay, so now let's execute. Okay, here you can see we got the message user cannot vote. Okay, why we got this method, this message user cannot vote? Because we have given age as 12. Okay, age as 12, and 12 is greater than 18. No, it is false. That else statement will execute, right? So this is the if else statement. If the condition is false, then it will execute the else statement. Okay, so now let's see another conditional statements. Okay, okay, so what if you have multiple conditions, right? Here we have only one condition. Okay, so what if we have multiple conditions? So for multiple conditions we use the else if statement. Okay, else if statement, let's see how we can use it. Okay, so now we will create a program. Okay, create a program. Okay, here we will take marks as a variable. Okay, if the marks is, if the marks is greater than 90, then we have to give grade A. Okay, if greater than, if the marks is greater than, let's say, 80, then we have to give grade B, right? And if the marks is let's say, if marks is greater than 70, then we will give the grade C, or else fail. Okay, so what is our question? Okay, so if the marks is greater than 90, then we will give the grade A. If the marks is greater than 80, we will give the grade B. And if the marks is greater than 70, then we will give grade C. And any marks which is less than 70, it is considered as to be failed. Okay, fail. So let's create. Okay, so we will create a method public void, and let's pass or fail. Okay, and we will take marks as a parameter. Okay, integer marks. Okay, so now let's write the logic. Okay, so here we have the multiple conditions, right? We have 1 2 3 4 conditions, right? So for multiple conditions we use the else if statement. Okay, so to write the else if statement, what we will do, we will first write the if condition. Okay, parenthesis, inside this we will write the condition. Okay, we will write the first condition. What is our first condition? If the marks is greater than 90. Okay, so if the marks, here the marks is, we will write the greater than 90. Okay, so if the marks is greater than 90, we have to give the grade A. Okay, so system.debug, we will give the grade A, right? So now for second condition we will use the else if keyword. Okay, else if keyword, and then parenthesis, and then curly braces, right? And in else if we will write another condition. What is the second condition? If the marks is greater than 80. Okay, so marks is greater than 80, then we have to give the grade B, system.debug, then we will give the grade B. Okay, so now we have two more conditions, right? So next condition is greater than 70. Okay, so then again we will write else if, and then inside the parenthesis we will write the condition marks is greater than 70, then curly braces, and what we want to execute, we want to show give grade see. Okay, and below 70 we have to mark as fail. Okay, so when all the condition will be false, then the last else statement will execute, right? And fail. Okay, so here we write the first condition, we wrote the second condition, we wrote the third condition. Okay, if all these three conditions will be false, then this else block will be executed, right? So let's execute this. Okay, so let's first of all save it, and now we have password fail. Okay, now let's say we have marks as 91. Okay, let's execute this. It should be showing the grade A. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so grade A appears. Okay, so now let's take another, let's say 50. Okay, so now let's execute. Here you will see fail. Okay, why fail? Because all these three conditions are false. Okay, 50 is not greater than 90, not greater than 80, 50 is not greater than 70, so all these three condition is false. Okay, so the else statement will execute. Okay, so this is the else if statement. Okay, so in this video we saw about conditional statements. Okay, first we saw the simple if statement, then we saw about if else statement. Okay, if else statement. Okay, and then we saw about else if statement. Whenever we have one condition, so we can use the if statement. Okay, when we have two conditions, or we want to show the message as if the condition is true, then print this line of code, execute this line of code, or if the condition is false, then execute the else block, right? And if we have multiple conditions, then we use the else if statement, right?